Yeah, first of all, Will, I just want to say thank you for joining the show. It's truly an honor, and obviously we got to cover you at Somerset and Scranton. So I want to start off saying, what was it? What was it like this year experiencing both Double A and Triple A? Obviously, you started with Somerset, and you got the call up to Triple A. Talk about that transition and going from Grayson Crawford to Graham Johnson.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a jump. I feel like sometimes Triple A is a little overlooked, being in the baseball world, because you got some of the older guys coming down, and I learned very quickly that it's a different level. You have to make adjustments and stuff like that, and I feel like a lot of organizations skip the Triple A level for some of their guys. They call them straight up, and I think for us with the Yankees, a lot of our guys go to Triple A. And you learn that stuff. That's stuff that you're skipping out, and you have to learn that in the big leagues. And for us, learning.
Well, as a Yankee fan, I've grown up watching this team religiously, almost every inning, every pitch, every at-bat. But this is the first time, especially over the past couple of years, that the Yankees have been able to cultivate such a talented minor league system, right? Especially when you look at the pitching side of things. That you got yourself, you got Drew Thorpe, you got a lot of young pitchers that are coming up. Who can you say that you're someone, when you go into the weight room, that guy's in the weight room ready to get their work in, just like you, Will? How competitive is it down there with the other pitchers that trying to break the big league camp?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, for me, Clayton Beater. He was my roommate. I've been, since he got traded from the Dodgers last year, I've been right there with him, and we compete with one another, trying to be, hey, how many strikeouts did he get? All right, I got to beat him. Or how long did he go? Let me see if I can beat that, and stuff like that. Obviously, when I got,
we appreciate you coming on the show. It means a lot to us. You are one of the filthiest pitchers I've ever seen. Your stuff is amazing. So I want to know, what is your favorite pitch to throw and why?
Well, I love throwing my slider. I don't know if I have a reason for throwing it. I think it's just I know it's good, so I trust that I'm going to have good results when I throw it, whether it's in the zone, out of the zone, 2 strikes, any of that. But yeah, I mean, I learned that pitch. I've said before, I learned that when I got drafted, and it kind of just took off. And I was like, oh, I knew it was good, but I didn't know it was this good. And so now, I guess now, when I got to AAA, obviously the hitters are more polished. They're not going to swing at stuff out of the zone, especially with ABS. And so, yeah, I mean, having to use my other pitches in the zone and then being able to use that slider to basically.
Yeah, well, again, we appreciate you coming on, and it's been fun watching you, move up in the ranks and, in AAA now. My question is, as you're moving up in levels and having to throw to different catchers, how important is it to have a personal catcher? Is that a big deal?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big deal, but I think it's more of a big deal, in the big leagues. You're playing all these games, 162 games or whatever, and then hopefully playoffs in most years. But yeah, you do want to get comfortable with your catchers. I thankfully was comfortable with my catchers because I had Narvaez, Carlos, was my catcher in high A last year, and then I moved up to Double A, and I had him again this year in Double A to start, and then went to Triple A. And then obviously I had Wells last year in Double A, had him again this year in Triple A, and then now he's in the big leagues. Yeah. And I got real comfortable with Ben and Wells.
Yeah, well, again, we appreciate you coming on, and it's been fun watching you, move up in the ranks and, in AAA now. My question is, as you're moving up in levels and having to throw to different catchers, how important is it to have a personal catcher? Is that a big deal?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big deal, but I think it's more of a big deal, in the big leagues. You're playing all these games, 162 games or whatever, and then hopefully playoffs in most years. But yeah, you do want to get comfortable with your catchers. I thankfully was comfortable with my catchers because I had Narvaez, Carlos, was my catcher in high A last year, and then I moved up to Double A, and I had him again this year in Double A to start, and then went to Triple A. And then obviously I had Wells last year in Double A, had him again this year in AAA, and then now he's in the big leagues.
Yeah.
And I got real comfortable with Ben and Wells.
Thank you for coming on to the show. So I guess my thing is, as you are also moving up these levels, because I know pitchers can be very superstitious about their pregame rituals and training. As you move up these levels, are you changing anything? Are you sticking to what's working for you? Anything you're grabbing off of some of the more experienced people that you meet? What's going on with that?
Yeah, for sure.
Good
I mean,
question.
like you said, learning from experienced people, being in AAA, you got, a lot of older guys. I think we had Colton Brewer, who had pitched a while. Wilmer Defoe was not a pitcher, but, I'm still learning from him. Matt Bowman was there. McAllister was there, and they're talking about he was drafted in 2006, and I'm like, that was way younger than But, yeah, I mean, just, like, listening to those guys, getting information like why they're talking about like how they did this back in the day or how they do this now and stuff like that. I've actually learned a lot, and it's helped